Hey, how's it going, everybody? We've got the third and final regional going on this weekend for North America. And with it, there's a lot of different things to pay attention to. Not only is it the last event for the fall split to see who goes to the major, but there's a lot of different playoff scenarios about who needs to perform and how they need to perform. If I'm Rogue, do I still have a chance to make it into the major in the first place? We're going to be going through all the scenarios of the top performing teams that have a chance to go to the fall split major and what they need to do in Regional 3 to accomplish that. What's up, everybody? Lawler here. Before I actually get into the specific teams and their scenarios, a couple things to keep in mind. The easiest thing to know is right now, obviously, as a very basic recap, there is 3 regionals for every split, and based upon how you perform in that regional determines if you get to go to the major. You've got to be, in North America, one of the top 5. Right now, the way, because of point gain, point loss, how many kind of margin of error there is with 5 teams, you need 561 points to guarantee yourself a spot into the major. Right now, the only team that has done that is NRG. They got 250 points in a second place performance in the first regional, 301 for winning the second regional, and because they are automatically qualified as a top 8 or top 16 team in the main event, they get a minimum of 40 points, putting their total right now at 591, which has led a lot of people to thinking, yo, Musty's going to sub in, it's going to be a super chill event, this and that. But the reality of it is these points matter not just for the major, but for the entire season. Every single regional is super important because at the end of the year, they're going to take the performances across the entire year, and that's who determines who goes to the World Championship. Yes, the majors are worth double the points of one regional, but Energy still needs to put their best foot forward. This is still just as important as the other ones, even though the major has been qualified for. They need to perform here. What happens if they have a bad regional or a bad major in the future? These points can help make up for that. So although everybody's just like out of sight, out of mind with Energy, this is also still really important for Energy too in the grand scheme of things. So keep that in mind. But the biggest thing we're looking forward to is obviously there's a bunch of tiebreakers, ton of teams trying to fight for the top 5. Technically 4 now because Energy's already clinched. We're going to go through these one by one from team to team, from top to bottom in the standings, to give you guys a general idea of what each team needs in order to qualify for the major in Sweden just a month away. First team, obviously we talked about them already, is NRG. You got Justin, Squishy, and Garrett. They have already qualified. As I mentioned, good performances in Regional 1 and 2 locked them up. The guaranteed 40 points for being in the main event. They have solidified their spot. Out of sight, out of mind. But don't forget, the points do matter long term. Up next, we've got Faze Clan. Faze Clan obviously had a wonderful performance in the first regional, taking the victory over NRG. And then they failed to qualify top 8 and make it into the playoffs. So 110 points puts them right now at a guarantee of 451 points. Now, this is what makes it very, very easy. If they want to guarantee a spot in the major, and there's a difference here between guaranteeing or putting them in contention and possibly dealing with tiebreakers. To guarantee, they have to place top 8 or better. They have to make it into the playoff bracket on Saturday. So as long as they go 3-2 on this weekend in the Swiss stage on Friday, they will qualify. If they want to have a good chance, they can get top 11, and 3 of the following things need to happen. Number 1, G2 needs to get top 8 or better. Space Station, NV, True Neutral, or V1 needs to get top 4 or better. XSET has to get top 2 or better, and Ghost has to win. These scenarios change up a lot based upon where the other teams are. The reason why performances from teams like G2, Space Station, etc. are better is these are teams already in contention to qualify, and if another Phantom team comes through and does well, that changes up the circumstances significantly. So the teams that are at the top need to keep winning, and there's a couple other factors that go into it. So that's what happens if they hit top 11. If they get top 14, which means they only need 1 win in the Swiss stage, these 3 things need to happen. G2 needs to get top 11 or better. Space Station, NV, True Neutral, V1, top 8 or better. XSET, top 4 or better. And Ghost, top 2 or better. If they end up going 0-3 and they just get completely swept and don't make it like Vitality did in the first regional, and K-Corp did in the second regional. If that does somehow miraculously end up happening, at most 3 of the following needs to happen. G2 top 14 or better, Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, V1 top 11 or better, and XSET or Ghost top 4 or better. Up next with G2 with Chicago, JNaps, and Drees. In order for them to guarantee a spot, they need to get top 4 or better. If they can make it in the semifinals, they are good. If they do not, and they get top 8, at least 3 of the following things need to happen. Faze need to get top 8 or better. Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, V1 need to get top 4 in a tiebreaker opportunity or better. XSET need to get top 2, tiebreaker or better. And then Ghost has to win. If they end up placing top 11, at most 3 of the following things need to happen. Faze need to get top 11 or better. Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, V1 need to get top 4 or better. XSET needs to get top 2 or better. And Ghost needs to get top 2 with tiebreaker or better. If they get top 14 as a reminder, which is 1 win in the Swiss stage, they need at most 3 of the following things to happen. Faze needs to get top 14 or better. Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, V1 need to get top 8 or better. XSET top 4 or better, and Ghost top 2 or better. If they end up going 0-3 in the Swiss stage, at most 2 of the following things need to happen. Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, V1 need to get top 11 or better. XSET needs to get top 8 or better. Ghost needs to get top 4 or better. Rogue needs to win the whole thing. If you're one of the top performing teams, if you guys haven't noticed, anybody who is below the bottom 11, so Sonics, Vibrance, Charlotte Phoenix, E United, RBG, etc., if they perform really well, it screws everything up for a lot of teams. Now, because we have a big selection of teams, I'm going to tell you the teams, their players, and then what needs to happen for all of them. And it all is the same. If you swap one team with one name, the same thing applies. It's just an amalgamation of 4 teams. Those 4 teams in order are Space Station, which is Retals, Sipical, and Arsenal. You've got Envy, which is Turbo Pulsar, Atomic, and Mist. You've got True Neutral, which is no longer True Neutral. I'm calling them Vamos for this point until they get announced with their new team. This is Razebull, AJG, and Shad. And then you've got version 1, which is Torment, Calm, and Gimmick. These scenarios apply to every single one. Whatever it is, if I talk about one thing, it applies to all the others. You just got to swap the names in the combination. If they would like to qualify and give themselves a chance and be A-okay, if they perform top 2, they're good to go. Because if they're top 2, other teams can't be, which secures their spot. So top 2, making it to the grand finals, is the goal for all of these teams. If they do not get to the grand finals and they get to the semifinals, that has to happen, and at most 3 of the following things. Faze needs to get top 8 or better. G2 needs to get top 8 or better with a tiebreaker. Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, or V1 needs to get top 4 with a tiebreaker or better. XSET needs to get top 2 with a tiebreaker or better. And Ghost needs to win. Out of those things, 3 at most need to happen alongside a semifinals appearance. If they don't make it to the semifinals, but they do make it to the playoffs and the quarterfinals, the top 8 and at most 3 of the following things need to happen. Faze needs to get top 11 or better. G2 needs to get top 11 or better. Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, V1 need to get top 8 with a tiebreaker or better. XSET needs to get top 4 with a tiebreaker or better. And Ghost top 2 or better. If they finish top 11, and at most 3 of the following things then need to happen. Faze top 14 or better. G2 top 14 or better. Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, V1 top 11 with a tiebreaker or better. XSET top 4 or better. And then Ghost top 4 with a tiebreaker or better. If they don't do that, and they only get 1 win in the Swiss stage, and they get top 14, they need at least one of the following things to happen. It's going to be a lot of tiebreakers, but Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, or V1 need to get top 14 with a tiebreaker or better. XSET top 8 or better. Ghost top 4 or better. And Rogue needs to win. So a lot of teams in this tied for 4th thing. If that's super complicating, my recommendation is work down the list. Hey, I'm watching this team. This is who I'm rooting for. Where are they at? Oh, they need to get top 2. If that doesn't happen, all right, let me go down the list. Oh, okay. Did they make the semifinals? Oh, that didn't happen. Okay, did they make playoffs? Oh, that didn't happen. Keep working your way down and then check across the board. Did this many things happen? So, for example, say V1 makes the quarterfinals. They don't get past that. Okay, they're top 8. Good. Has Faze performed top 11? Yep. Okay, good. Faze is, Faze is in the playoffs. We're good. G2, top 11. But yep, they're in the playoffs too. Awesome. And then you need one more out of those things to happen. Things should be solidified. So there's a lot of moving parts and things to pay attention to. Obviously, the broadcast team will keep you guys up to date on that. But these checklists are a lot easier. And I commend the people behind the scenes that are keeping track of all these things. I will also be doing a watch party for this and hopefully can help you with these scenarios. I can do the math mentally and figure it out while looking on stream for y'all. So if you guys do have questions about certain things, either stop by my stream, twitch.tv/Lawler, or let me know in the comments down below and I'll try to get to them. But primarily, watch party is the way to do it. Into the last 3 teams. Number 1, XSET. If they want to guarantee a spot, just win, Forehead. If they win, they're good. They get 301 points. They shoot up. They go from 340 plus another 301. That's 641 points. They are solidified. If they don't win, they need to get top 2, and 3 of the following things need to happen at most. Number 1, Faze top 8 or better. G2 top 8 with a tiebreaker or better. Space Station NV True Neutral V1 top 4 with a tiebreaker or better. Ghost winning. If they don't do that, they get top 4. At most, 3 of the things need to happen. Faze G2 need to get top 11 or better. Space Station NV True Neutral V1 top 8 with a tiebreaker or better. And Ghost top 2 or better. If they make the playoffs, which has to happen, if they get top 8, at most 3 of the following things need to happen. G2 top 14 or better. Space Station NV True Neutral V1 top 11 or better. And Ghost top 4 or better. Again, some of these teams like XSET, if they do not make the playoffs, they're done. Up next, we've got Ghost Gaming. They also can get in if they win. They get 301 points. That'll put them at 601 total. They're good to go. Again, that golden number, 561 points. If they don't win and they get top 2 and take the second place finish, 3 of the following things need to happen at most. Faze top 11 or better. G2 top 11 or better with a tiebreaker. Space Station NV True Neutral V1 top 4 or better. And XSET taking a win. If they don't get top 2 and they make it into the semifinals, at most 3 of these things need to happen. Faze G2 need to get top 14 or better. Space Station NV True Neutral V1 need to get top 11 or better with a tiebreaker. And XSET top 4 or better. For some of these teams, it's going to be really tough to get in, and winning the whole thing is basically their ticket. So who knows what's going to happen. Maybe we'll get some parity like we did in Europe. Before I go to last but not least, which is Rogue, some pretty interesting things just as a little like asterisk. Both Torrent and Sonics are in the running for points, but because they didn't make it, they didn't qualify for the 3rd regional, their chances are gone. They would have been guaranteed 40 points. They would have put them in positions like just shy of Ghost, and they could have made a run for it, but because they didn't, better luck in January. So gonna have to sit on the bench for quite a while. But last but not least, like I mentioned, we do have Rogue. It's going to be win, and at most 2 of the following things need to happen. So for Rogue, they have to win. If Rogue does not win, they're done. But if they do, then 2 of the following things need to happen at most. G2 has to get top 14 or better. Space Station NV True Neutral V1 top 11 or better. XSET top 8 or better. And Ghost top 4 or better. It is very tough for Rogue to not only win, but also need the stars aligning for them to qualify. It's going to be tough. But again, shout outs to the public, whether you're talking to Direct or the man, another person in my community who shows up on Twitch a bunch. Putting these out are very, very convenient for not only the general public, but also just so people can stay up to date on what their teams are. I'll be going through these playoff scenarios live on broadcast when I cover for version 1 on Friday for the main event going through the Swiss stage. And I'll try to keep you guys up to date on everybody when you guys come in. Version 1 has a big mentality surrounding the fact that if we can't be your first favorite team, we'll be your second. And I'll try to do my best to keep you guys up to date if you do stop by us and want to know certain things. I have to do them at certain moments because I'm casting, but for the most part, I will try to keep you guys up to date on what's going on. If you guys don't get the time to tune in on that, I will be streaming on my own channel on Saturday, twitch.tv/Lawler, doing a watch party, kind of seeing how the quarterfinals go. So with that said, if you guys do have any additional questions, comments, concerns, you can either A, tweet at me at LawlerTV on Twitter, or let me know in the comments down below. Link to this document and this Reddit post will be in the description. But with that said, I know it's a long one. I know it's a lot of information, but as a general guideline, some basic things to pay attention to and kind of last minute quick summary stuff. First thing, 561 points. If your team gets that, pretty dang good chance to wrap it up and lock it in that you are going to be in the major. Second thing, quick summary of all the scenarios. Energy is clinched. Faze likely to get in with the top 11 and out with top 14. For G2, they clinch tiebreakers with top 8, but they'll probably get in if they get top 11. For Space Station, Envy, True Neutral, and V1, they're most likely going to get in if they get into the semifinals, and they have a possible tiebreaker if they get into the playoffs. As for XSET, they're most likely in if they get top 2, and they're probably out if they get top 4. As for Ghost, they have a chance with top 2 and clinch with a win. And as for Rogue, I'm not saying there's not a chance, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. Hopefully that covers everything for you guys. Again, if you do enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you this weekend for some matches. Peace.